Asante. Kwa majina naitwa Nancy Karikito na mimi ni katibu mkuu katika uchukuzi wa maji na ubaharia of Kenya government, which works through ministries, and I am the one in charge of creating the necessary policies to guide the development and delivery of maritime transport. I also provide oversight over the maritime administration, which, as you are aware, is in charge of implementing national laws dealing with safety and security of shipping, as well as the marine environmental protection. And this draw from the relevant international conventions emanating from the United Nations, specialized agencies of the International Maritime Organization and the International Labour Organization. As a young girl growing up in rural Kenya, I was fascinated by making and floating paper boats on water paddles. And the gift of a cowrie shell fired my imagination, because you see, held to the ear, I was told the sound emanating is the mama of the sea, where a bigger version of paper boats sailed far and wide. This inspired a childhood dream to live at the coast to see the big boats. And while my first career was in the law, a job at the Port Authority led to an opportunity to study at the IMO International Maritime Law Institute, and which set me on a trajectory to the job I hold today. One of the many challenges I have faced in my job is not being taken seriously, and a constant battle of having my views heard or at the very least given the same gravity as the male voice. When I took over as the chief executive of our maritime authority, I did not realize that it was seen as a joke in a lot of quarters. It was a man's job that I was pretending that I could do, and I remember once, very early in my job on national radio broadcast, when a man called the radio station to ask me what I imagined I could do in this job when I didn't even have the qualifications to be a spanner boy on board a ship. Today, that unqualified spanner boy sits in the executive maritime policy making office in my country. As a woman, I learned long ago not to hold any grudges, whatever the circumstances, and not to listen to naysayers, and to doggedly pursue the goal at hand, whatever the circumstances. Having a very strong support system is very critical, first at home and then at the workplace. I've had to develop a strong sense for identifying friends and potential allies. Most important, being and remaining consistent so as to earn their trust and confidence is critical. Now, the maritime sector is changing for the good, because we have strong platforms like the IMO, the ICS, WISTA, and many others, speaking about the need to break the bias and the barriers to women and girls joining and being taken seriously in the workplace. The visibility of women at the helm in various facets of the industry has provided perfect examples and role models for young women and exposed them to what is possible in the industry for them. We pay tribute to these women who have worked tirelessly around the clock to break down the bias and change the narrative. My message to women is that as the world marks this year's International Women's Day, the time has come for women everywhere wishing to join the maritime sector to take the leap. The stage is set with opportunities for them to apply their skills, intellect, and brilliance to their full potential without the frustration of having to work 100 times harder than their male counterparts. There is definitely light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not an oncoming train.